On a dark and stormy night, the anime begins with a hooded man who preparing to commit an assassination, but he suddenly senses the presence of another assassin, one who moves silently. He assumes the other killer must have the same target, but in the world of assassins, there's no room for sharing a kill. He quickly decides he must eliminate this rival. He jumps into action, attacking swiftly, but none of his blows connect. The silent assassin, who is actually our protagonist named Akira, effortlessly blocks every one of his rival's strikes. The first assassin uses his entire arsenal of skills, but sadly, he's no match for Akira, who breaks his limbs and leaves him completely defeated. The beaten man realizes, too late, that Akira's level is far beyond his own. Now, inside a grand castle, Akira stands face to face with Hirakama, fully prepared to eliminate his new target. But before that, we switch scenes to a school in Japan, where a group of students is casually eating lunch and hanging out. They all get along really well, except for one person, Akira. He doesn't stand out socially and sits quietly reading an isekai novel. One of the few classmates who even acknowledges his existence notices his interest and asks Akira to recommend a free isekai story like the ones he reads. Akira agrees, and the classmate, Nana C, walks away. Suddenly, while Akira is looking at his phone, the device starts acting strangely. A dark orb appears in the classroom, forming a magical seal, and within seconds, the entire room is transported to another world. The students panic, wondering if it's a terrorist attack or some cosplay prank, but then an old man appears and announces that the king will speak to them. When the students don't listen, he orders them to be quiet. Soon, the king appears and thanks them for accepting the invitation, even though, clearly, none of them agreed to anything. He tells them that the world they've arrived in is called Morrigan, and they're currently in Ratasi, the largest kingdom in the human continent. Akira listens closely as the king explains that demon forces are advancing, threatening the land, and only a hero from another world can defeat the demon king. Akira feels a rush of excitement. The old man then tells everyone it's time to check their parameters to identify who among them is the true hero. One by one, the students place their hands on a crystal sphere and reveal their stats, which are much higher than those of normal people in this world. They all get excited about their new professions, but Akira notices something strange. His own stats are way higher than anyone else's, and one of them is even maxed out. Then, his classmate Sato is revealed as the hero, and everyone cheers for him. But Akira can't understand how that makes sense when his own stats are clearly stronger. Feeling uneasy, he activates his stealth ability, which is maxed out, to avoid detection and hide his parameters. He doesn't trust the king or the princess and doesn't want to make a mistake until he knows what's really going on. After the evaluations, the old man tells everyone to rest. As Akira quietly walks through the halls under stealth, he realizes they're being watched, so he becomes even more careful. One of the royal knights seems to sense his presence. Once in his room, Akira prepares to gather information by jumping onto the castle roof. Surprised at how physically strong he is, he suddenly feels a presence and uses stealth to spy on the king and princess. He overhears them mocking the students, calling them naive, and saying they don't suspect a thing. They say it's time to move forward with the plan and that no one should be allowed into the library because access to knowledge could ruin everything. The princess sets off while Akira hides behind the king, realizing their intentions aren't good. He considers eliminating the king then and there, but ultimately doesn't. The next day, while everyone eats, Akira wonders whether he should drop stealth and tell his classmates what he heard, but he knows they might not believe him. Just then, Sato tells everyone that they should come together and use their powers to protect this world, saying he wants to defeat the demon king just like the king asked. Akira hears this and thinks Sato is an idiot for blindly trusting the king and princess without knowing anything. Later, in the training grounds, they are introduced to Sarang Mitri, captain of Ratasi's knights and the kingdom's last line of defense. He announces that they will start training because in 1 month they'll be infiltrating a dungeon, and since none of them have real combat experience, they must prepare. Akira watches carefully, planning to keep gathering intel. Sarang notices him and tells his companion Gills to handle the training while he walks over to Akira, asking if something caught his interest. Akira, startled, wonders if his stealth wore off, but Sarang reassures him that it's still active. He just has a special kind of vision that can sense temperature changes. He tells Akira to relax and promises not to report anything to the king. He admits things in the kingdom are complicated and asks Akira not to reveal their conversation. Later, Akira expresses his desire to enter the library because he knows nothing about this world. Sarang asks him what level his stealth ability is, and Akira replies that it's at the max level. However, all his other abilities are stuck at level 1, and he doesn't know how to improve them. Sarang offers to help, saying there's really nothing valuable in the library anyway. But Akira responds. Akira answers that he must investigate how to return to his world because he has a family back there, and Sarang understands him, but sadly tells him that no one knows how to send him back. However, one thing is very clear. If he wants to return, he must become stronger no matter the cost, and what Sarang can do for him is help train him into a top-level assassin. Akira finds it strange that he wants to do all of this for free, but Sarang says his only price is for Akira to tell him stories about his world world, since even though he looks like a knight, he is in fact very curious and loves knowledge. Akira agrees to the deal and formally introduces himself to him. In this way, he learns that besides humans and demons, this world also has elves and beastmen, and each race lives on a different continent. And Sarang not only teaches him information, but also starts training him every day, because some skills level up only by defeating monsters, but others only grow through practice and training, so time passes like this. One day, Sarang tells Gills that Akira is quite an interesting boy, just like the strange world he came from, the same world that gave birth to the first hero. He also mentions that Akira's stealth is maxed out and not even magic cameras can detect him, which shocks Gills because only the first hero ever reached that level, just as Akira enters the room. Gills leaves, and Akira shows Sarang a book he found in the library about a coup. Sarang reveals he is the one who wrote it, hiding it there disguised as a recipe book, hoping somebody would find it someday, because the king has lost his sanity and is trying to break the natural laws of this world at a heavy price. And Sarang cannot look away, but the knights owe so much to the king that they can't openly rebel. Akira says he understands, and even read that the plan is to remove the king peacefully, but jokes that it would be quicker if someone like him, someone who isn't tied down, just eliminated the king from the board, admitting he was going to kill him, but didn't do it in the end. Sarang tells him that might be for the best, because even if his class is assassin, that doesn't mean he must become one, especially if he wants to return home. Akira asks why he supports him so much, and Sarang says it's because he has hope in him. He didn't reveal his stats when everyone else did, and after being summoned, he didn't just accept everything. He observed and made his own choices, and only someone who has faced struggle alone can do that. Akira looks down and says he has never been praised like this. Sarang laughs and says then instead of praising him so much, maybe he should just help with the peaceful coup, and Akira says he'll think about it. 1 month later, the day to enter the canteen in Labyrinth arrives, and as they walk through the streets, Akira watches a parade that's been organized just because they are going to test their strength in a dungeon. Something feels odd, and when he looks around, he spots a shadowy figure in the distance. He appears behind her immediately, and the girl asks if he knows the heavy price paid to summon these so-called heroes. Akira says sadly he doesn't, and she tells him that she'll see him again once he discovers the answer, because she feels their paths will cross again. Later in the labyrinth, the students do a great job defeating monsters efficiently, but cannot stop triggering traps one after another. After clearing one room, they enter another and encounter a massive horde of orcs. Sato remembers the princess gave him a smoke orb that repels monsters, so he uses it, but instead of scaring them away, an enormous minotaur appears. Everyone is confused, and Gills wonders why that kind of monster is on the first floors. Akira rushes to save Sato, but when he attacks, his dagger breaks. He pulls back quickly and tells Sato not to move because his arms are broken. Sato insists he must protect everyone, and Akira snaps back asking who is going to protect Sato himself. Sato says as the hero it's his responsibility, but Akira stops him, reminding him that everyone must protect themselves. That's why they trained. But then Sato starts behaving strangely, repeating that he is the hero and it is his duty. Akira senses something is wrong and asks who in the group is the shaman. A girl steps up and examines Sato, discovering he is cursed. She starts removing the curse while Akira meets Sarang to ask permission to use it, and Sarang agrees. Sarang then calls on the power of light and summons a massive holy beam that blasts the minotaur from above. The others gasp, and Akira prepares to finish it by activating shadow magic. Darkness spreads beneath the minotaur, piercing its flesh and paralyzing it, and Akira absorbs its body with the shadows before cutting its head off. But after absorbing it, Akira nearly loses control of his power. Sarang quickly rushes over and orders him to calm down, and Akira manages to regain control. When the ability fades, Sarang says he consumes power fast, but thanks to that, everyone survived, and praises him for his excellent work. Back at the castle, Sarang tells Akira that this shadow ability is powerful but has dangerous flaws, low efficiency, and unstable control, so he must not use it recklessly. Then he gives him a katana that once belonged to the first hero. Akira asks why not give it to the current hero, and Sarang explains that the current hero already has the sacred sword, and if he wore this one, the king would see it. Plus, Sarang stole it from the royal vault. Akira keeps it, reading the engraving that says God of the Nightblade, and a prayer to guide its future successor. Akira says he wishes he could have met the first hero too. Speaking of him, they remember that the curse placed on Sato was too strong. The shaman couldn't remove it fully, and Sarang says he has a guess who cursed him. In another scene inside the princess's chamber, she says Sato will now become a puppet, but suddenly, Akira breaks in and cuts the link crystal, breaking the curse. The princess demands to know who he is and how he dares enter a maiden's room, but Akira threatens her with his sword and says maidens don't curse people, witches do. He asks why she cursed the hero, and she says everything she does is for his majesty. Akira asks why she obeys him, but she stays silent. He gives up and leaves, and we see her walk to a wardrobe full of link crystals with the names of all the summoned students. Akira returns to Sarang and confirms his suspicions. Sarang asks if he showed his face to the princess, and Akira says yes, because he wanted to ask her why she was doing all this, princess, but they couldn't talk normally. Sarang tells him the princess is just another puppet and advises him to rest, but not inside the palace because she can still curse the others. She can't curse Akira because she doesn't know his stats, so instead, they will try to kill him. Akira asks why he doesn't scold him after showing his face, and Sarang says children are sometimes reckless. It's the adult's job to fix the problems. Akira smiles and says he wishes. Akira smiles and says he would have loved to have an adult like Sarang in his own world. And with a laugh, Sarang asks him to take him along when he returns home, but Akira changes his mind and jokes that it would actually be really annoying. The next day, Akira wakes up on the branch of a tree, and when he hears a commotion, he jumps down to see what's going on. Sato runs up and asks where he's been, and Akira casually says he overslept. He asks why there's so much noise, and Sato tells him the shocking news. Captain Sarang has been murdered. Akira is stunned and runs over, asking why this happened, but the others angrily accuse him of acting, saying the dagger in Sarang's chest is his. Akira reminds them his dagger broke in the dungeon, but they say he was always suspicious because he was never around. He only showed up sometimes during training. Akira now realizes the princess's curse has affected them, and just then Sato tells the group not to rush into judgment. But before anything else can happen, the king arrives and orders Akira to be executed for killing Captain Sarang. Akira instantly understands he's being framed and sees the princess smiling, so he activates stealth to dodge the guards. Gills appears and tells Akira that the ones who killed Sarang must be the Night Crows, assassins who serve the king, and they will come for him too, so he tells Akira to go to Sarang's room because the captain had luggage prepared for a long trip and he should take it and flee. Akira thanks him and grabs the bag before escaping, quietly thanking his master for everything he taught him. That night, we see the king saying Sarang fell too easily, and the princess says she now has curses on everyone, except the hero, so they will need a new excuse to declare war on the East. The king says they will use the summoned students as cannon fodder, and guesses Akira will probably starve to death on the run, but orders the Night Crows to hunt him just in case. Meanwhile, remembering Sarang's words, Akira heads into the Labyrinth, the best place to run and also get stronger. The deeper he goes, the tougher the monsters, and he knows he cannot rely only on stealth because high-level creatures can detect him by smell or sound, but if he keeps leveling up his skills, he may eventually erase his scent, noise, and even body heat. Akira keeps descending deeper, defeating beast after beast, remembering how Sarang said not everyone dares enter the Labyrinth because it's deadly, but the special skill gained at occupation level 100 is worth it. His goal is to defeat every floor boss perfectly. Every 10 floors there's a boss, and once the fight starts, neither side can advance or flee until one of them dies. Reaching a boss chamber, Akira faces a massive chimera. He barely dodges its attacks until the chimera sinks its claws into him. Akira refuses to give up. He must return home and avenge Captain Sarang. He uses shadow magic, binding the chimera in darkness that swallows it whole, killing it, but Akira's injuries are too severe and he collapses. A mysterious voice triggers his shadow magic's healing mode, consuming stored magic to heal him. Back in the castle, Sato tries convincing his classmates to fight the Demon King to save the townspeople, but many refuse after the disaster with Sarang. Disheartened, Sato decides to go alone, wondering if his companions are still cursed, but to his surprise, several of them join him. Outside the castle, he asks why they came, and the group's shaman reveals none of them are cursed now. She has curse resistance and recently began feeling other curses. Yosuke steps forward, saying he has vague memories of smashing crystals and carrying a katana. Gills then explains that his hypnosis skill can break curses by forcing a single action, and he fulfilled Sarang's final order by hypnotizing Yosuke to break the crystals, freeing everyone else. He wishes the heroes good luck, and Ryosuke says he must find Akira and apologizes for not defending him while cursed. Then he remembers how, back in their world, by chance he ran into Akira working a job, and when Akira tried to act like he didn't see him, Ryosuke told him not to worry. Akira apologized, saying he didn't want anyone to know, especially his little sister, and then they realized their little sisters attended the same first-year class. Back in the Labyrinth, Akira wakes up from a dream asking why he dreamed of Ryosuke. He notices his body doesn't hurt anymore and checks his stats. His HP is almost full. He's gained several levels and wonders how he healed his broken ribs and poison. He notices his shadow magic is now level 5 instead of 3. Turns out the more he uses it, the faster it levels up. It's easier to use now, but there's no time to waste, so he continues on, reaching floor 75. Upon entering, he's attacked by a giant slime, but after killing it, it dissolves and an elf girl falls out. He tries using a skill he hasn't tested yet, Eyes of the World, and is overwhelmed by flashes of countless visions, including dead allies. He quickly turns it off, realizing it's too dangerous to use often. The elf wakes up, and when Akira accidentally sees her stats, he notices her HP is dangerously low and that she also has Eyes of the World. She asks where she is, and he tells her they're on the 75th floor of the Cantinan Labyrinth, and he's here to level up. Seeing that she doesn't ask his name, he jokes that even if she can already read it, she should at least ask. Suddenly, she faints and falls on him. When he touches her, he realizes she has a fever. Later, she wakes up by a spring. Her stomach growls, and Akira gives her water and some rice soup. She asks how he knows so much about treating illness, and he says his mother was always sick, so he learned early on. The elf asks if he wrote something, saying they were on floor 75 but now they're on 69. Akira explains he carried her here because of the spring water. She nervously asks if he did anything improper while carrying her, and Akira says no. She reveals she's royalty, and no one has ever treated her normally before, though Akira says he already knew because he saw it earlier. She falls asleep, and Akira rests too, still alert. While he sleeps, the elf stares at him quietly with a smile. Later, now on floor 80, they team up to clear floors faster. Akira asks why she's still with him if she feels better. She replies it's just coincidence. Their path is the same. They enter a boss room and face an enormous dragon. The elf uses gravity magic while Akira sneaks behind it, but the dragon senses his presence and slams him away. She tells him the dragon senses his magic, so he must scatter it across the room. Akira doesn't know how, so instead, he uses shadow magic to blind the dragon in total darkness and stab it. After dodging an attack, the elf asks what he did, and he says he couldn't hide his magic, so he did the opposite, flooding the whole area with it. The elf is impressed. Then suddenly, the dragon's body begins glowing. And with episode 2 end here,